New Colorado Middle Income Housing Authority is expected to build over 3,500 units, but is raising some questions from some in the industry. Now, we've been seeing a tremendous amount of economic difficulties, especially from low income, middle income families, and more people are finding it very difficult to survive, and are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, one of the Biden administration's goals is to create more affordable housing. Now, part of the initiative was to get a handle on inflation, and they're doing that in a concerted effort working with the Fed to raise interest rates and offset the rapid expansion of inflation, and in some cases borderline hyperinflationary environments. Now, if you're a prepper, you're realizing that the cost of living is increasing. So to prep properly, to prepare for the economic changes that we are very likely to experience, that we are experiencing right now, you have to consider, how are we going to survive? How are we going to increase our incomes to meet the ever rising rental costs? More and more people are saying that they're basically having to choose between keeping the lights on and purchasing groceries. Now, Colorado is starting to proceed with this experiment that would eventually deliver billions of dollars of loans to build income restricted housing to ease the state's housing crunch, but it also comes with some significant concerns, and it could be a very similar issue to what California is experiencing. And hopefully this doesn't exacerbate the already horrible conditions for homeless. The homeless situation is getting worse. It's getting much worse. And with rising rent costs, more and more people are finding it difficult to just sustain life. Now, if we just take a look at this apartment building here, we can see that this apartment building here right behind me, can you imagine how much it costs to stay in that apartment building? I mean, the average rent rate across the United States, the average rent rate is, I believe I saw $1,500. But you have to remember, the averages are just the averages. Some cities will find rent being less than $1,500. If you live in New York City, if you live in California, if you live in Miami, Chicago, Dallas, Austin, some of these bigger cities, the average rent rate is going to be much more expensive. So this particular building has one bedroom, literally one bedroom apartments in it, starting at $2,500 per month. This does not include your utilities. This does not include internet access, high-speed internet access. This is not covering your food. Just to keep a roof over your head, starting at $2,500. Some of these one-bedroom apartments are as high as $2,800 every single month for a piece of real estate that you will never own. Now, if you look behind me, you will see this crane. And this crane is in the process of erecting a brand new building. This will more than likely be for additional residents to live here. And what we've seen from the current administration, and even from previous administrations, is that their goal seems to be to cram more and more people into a confined area. I'm not sure if this is to control people. Is it easier to control people if you keep them in one place? I mean, if you were to lose power, you can impact thousands of people in a single building, potentially. So that's a lot of power that one would have if you have a lot of people in a particular confined location. Now, is that the case? Is that what they're trying to do? I don't know. Now, known as the Middle Income Housing Authority, the new office aims to build housing in the missing middle that is not addressed by traditional affordable housing programs. And it actually treats the middle income housing like the infrastructure that it is. So you got roads, you got bridges, you've got parks, you've got all sorts of family gathering community areas that they're going to be building out as well. And all of this is costing money. And as the cost of materials and supply chain disruptions causes delays, these projects are becoming more and more expensive to complete. This builder behind us may very well be one of the builders that is suffering financially as a result of materials not being available. Now, the program targets a group of people who normally don't benefit from housing programs, and those are making close to the median income. Now in Denver, for example, it would serve households that are between $80,000 and $126,000 for income for a family of 4. Now, depending upon where you live, $126,000 is very uncomfortable to live on for a family of 4. You guys can let me know, what do you think it takes financially to live comfortably in your area? I would love to hear from you guys on that one. But what we're seeing is a shift in the housing market. What we are seeing is that the Biden administration is actually making more and more programs available, because their goal, if you look at one of the recent campaign updates, is their goal is to increase affordable housing for the average American. So how do you do that? Generally, it's through subsidization of the construction costs. So what this could do is it could possibly exacerbate the housing market as we see it. And it will actually encourage more and more entrepreneurs, construction builders, owners of construction sites, and even real estate investors to buy up these properties. I was seeing a number of different insider sites discussing why purchasing real estate in certain areas could literally yield some of the highest investment returns that we've seen in many, many years, even beyond the real estate appreciation that we've seen recently. Now, let's just say that, the government says, and this is going to be done at a local level, but more than likely it's going to be funded by the federal government. So let's just say the federal government comes in, federal government steps in and says, hey, we need to help out with this affordable housing. So what's going to happen is investors are going to hear this, they're going to realize this, they're going to go in and start buying up real estate, and they're going to figure out what types of properties the government is willing to essentially invest in or provide funding for, so that they can literally rehab these properties at the expense of the federal government. Now, what have we seen in the past? We've seen the federal government provide funding to states and local governments. So the federal government will more than likely fund these states, and once the states get the money, the states are going to literally say, hey, what areas meet the federal funding guidelines for usage of this money? I mean, right now, I would say all 50 states right now still have federal funding from the last American Rescue Package. Billions of dollars, mind you. So once these states basically get the green light from the Fed, and this is hypothetical, but it's more likely going to happen. Read up on the affordable housing plan. More than likely, the federal government will provide funding to states on a state level, and these states will essentially write checks to real estate investors to basically fund the rehabs of single-family residences, to fund rehab of multifamily residences like the one behind me right now. And so this will propel the issue. I mean, the goal is to help with affordable housing, but this is more than likely going to propel the issue that we're facing right now with affordable housing. More and more Americans are not going to be able to afford to purchase as a result of the fact that there will be reduced inventory from all of these investors who are purchasing real estate to eventually turn a profit. And these real estate investors are more than likely, they're seeing how the housing supply and the rate of construction for housing is so slow. So they're not going to flip these properties. They're going to more than likely buy up these properties, these investment properties, put them on the market, rent them out for the next 20, 30, 50 years, who knows? And what do you think that's going to do for housing prices? It's more than likely going to continuously press housing prices up, because fewer houses will be on the market for sale because all of these real estate investors are buying them up. Now, this is just one of many different scenarios that could happen, but I'll definitely continue to share more news and money updates with you guys, more real estate updates and economic updates as they unfold. This is a developing story. But we have to look at what's going on, and this is literally what we're seeing here. But I do want to show you this. You guys can get a better picture of here. This is what Batson Cook Morrow, and they're literally in the middle of this construction here. Kind of cool. I just wanted to kind of show you that. But like I said, we're going to see more and more issues like this surface. We're going to see more and more housing crisis for the lower income and middle income Americans, and for those who are not prepared, it's going to be really rough. But remember, it doesn't have to be that way. It's all about strategic financial planning. And if you're following the channel, I'm going to continue to provide more information so that you can better prepare you and your family. Economic prepping is so important, and I don't want my community sleeping on this. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you've made it this far, drop a like for the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one.